Okay, here we are. Just got back from Fort Loudon down there near Knoxville, Tennessee. We got us a top 10. Finally, got a good event down there. You know, it was February. Water was low. It was down a winter pool. Fort Loudon stays stained up, so it's definitely one of those places where you're going to be fishing a lot more shallow stuff, not as much deep stuff. But huge congrats to Jeff Gustafson, who found himself some deep fish, relatively deep, like 12 to 15 feet, and ended up winning the tournament all smallmouth. I never saw smallmouth the whole week because I was focusing more on the largemouth bite, which was good. The first day of the tournament, I ended up catching all my fish on two different baits. One of them was a deep jerk bait. It's Megabass 110 plus. I was fishing around a marina, and I felt like I needed to get that jerk bait below the cross members so that those fish could see it and come out, and that's why I went with the deeper version. I was jerking it down. I could see it on the live scope. That bait was getting down 9 feet, 10 feet, somewhere in that range when I was working it. So that was just below the bottom of the marina. And it caught 4 keepers on that bad boy the first day. The rest of the tournament, I never caught another keeper on it. But I was throwing that on a Cashin Icon. It's a medium heavy. It's an extra fast medium heavy. And this is a great rod for a jerkbait. Good for topwaters and things like that as well. And then I had the Daiwa Tatula 100 with the 6.3 to 1, 12-pound Sunline cranking line. The 12-pound Sunline Crank FC is the deal. It's got that plasma coating on it, and I did that because it looked like it was going to be pretty cold. It ended up being relatively, seasonal as far as the temperatures go, so we didn't have any temperatures below freezing. If you're fishing below freezing, that Crank FC has that plasma coating on it, so the water doesn't stick on it. You're not going to have near the ice in the guides and the ice in your reel like you would with any other type of fishing line. I'm telling you, that plasma is the deal for that, and that's one of the reasons I was fishing with it. Plus, it's very abrasion resistant. I like all that as well. But I ended up changing over to the McStick 110 because I was fishing some other stuff. Tried it with a jerk bait. I didn't catch any keepers. I did catch some fish on that guy in the later days, but no other keepers. So that was half of my first day. The other half of my first day, my big old 5.7 that I caught, plus another decent keeper which called for me. I caught on the Spro Little John 50. This is the original Little John. This is a color called Western Crawl. Just a really, really good looking red, orange belly. I love that color. And I took a dip and dye marker that was red, colored it a red so that fiberglass will absorb it, and then I put a little accent on there, a little black accent around the edges. I don't know, just tried to keep it matched up well. And I was throwing that on a Cashin cranking rod. This is their medium heavy. I'm gonna just read it for you. It's a C8457, the 7-foot, moderate fast, medium heavy, and that is like the Little John rod. Any small crankbait, this small, little bit lighter crankbait, that rod is the deal. I haven't found the Icon version yet for it, but also again, Daiwa Tatula 100, same 12-pound Sunline Crank FC line. And then the last day, the water cleared up where I was fishing, and so I changed over to this matte shad, not matte shad. This is the matte Sexy Chrome. It's one of the Wamiku shad colors that my man Shin Fukai came up with. Really like that. I didn't catch any on it, but I was trying to change up that last day because I struggled the last day. But the second day, I really got going with the chatterbait. I was throwing the 3/8 ounce jackhammer and the shad color, and I originally the second and third days I was throwing the Missile Baits white baby D-bomb on there. Sorry guys, they're out of stock, at least at Missile. A few dealers may still have some, but that was on the back of that chatterbait. Looked really good. And then the last day, because that water cleared up, I felt like the white was a little too bright, and I ended up going with the Hillbilly Magic, and that looked really good. That is really, really a good shad profile, shad shape. A lot of good action on there. Had 20-pound Sunline FC Sniper. That 20-pound is my go-to on the Chatterwagon. And then, the Daiwa Tatula, same 6.3-1. And I'm still throwing the Elite Chatterbait rod, but it's not really the Elite. This is one of the prototypes that had the Icon blank in there. So it's the Icon version of the Chatterbait rod is really what it is. But it was one of the early ones that I got. And I love it. And I've really gotten dialed in with this rod. So I want to just keep fishing with it. And that was what I caught. I did not catch a keeper on that the last day. So the last day I really kind of had to change up. And the first day, no, the second day and third day I ended up catching at least one keeper on the old Risto wrap. I think this is a number 4 or 5. I honestly can't remember, but it's a tiny little sucker. It is very small. And the last day I was trying to change it up, and the last day ended up, throwing the little. That's what I caught my only keeper on the last day was the Old Faithful number 5 shad wrap in that brown orange color. But that brown orange color, I felt like they were just nipping at it. I lost 2 fish that last day, and then I ended up changing over to the old school shad color. And caught some small ones, but I never caught another keeper. I really don't know what happened to those fish the last day. But on the small crankbaits, the little tiny finesse crankbaits, I was throwing that on the Cashin spinbait rod. It's a 7.6. The Cashin spinbait rod, the John Cruz. It has a nice soft tip. It's really good for throwing these little teeny tiny crankbaits because that longer rod gives you a little better leverage. And I had 7 or 8 pound. I kind of with the Risto wrap, I went with 7. I bumped it up to the 8. I'll probably doing it again. I probably would stick with the 7 pound Sunline Sniper leader. It's about a 20-foot leader to 12 pound Sunline X Plasma braid on the reel. Tatula 3000, and then as I mentioned, that's the spinbait rod from Cashin, the new John Cruz Icon version. Really liked that combo for throwing those little baits, but that was kind of my 1, 2, 3, 4 punch, if you will, my 1, 2, 3, 4 punch on the baits that I used there in Knoxville. I was fishing a lot of isolated rock with the crankbaits, trying to look for stuff that was out off the bank. That was seemed to be, the more isolated, the better. It seemed like 2 to 4 feet was the key depth range. Some of the stuff I probably caught fish as deep as 5 or 6, but I really didn't get much going on deeper than 6. That jerkbait bite around that marina was a totally different deal. And like I said, I felt like I had to get that jerkbait down below where all those cross members and stuff were going, because I felt like that's where those fish were hanging. They were not real close to the surface. Sometimes the fish will get up close to the surface in those marinas. I felt like these ones were down. And with my live scope, I was looking around, and I didn't feel like there was so much stuff going on. I could see some fish. I could see a lot of crappie. It was hard to pick out those single bass until I was working that jerkbait, and then I could see them coming up behind it. And the live scope helped me catch a couple extra fish. I don't have the active target on yet. I might get time to put it on before the next tournament. Not sure yet, but when I was fishing that rocky stuff off the bank with the crankbait, the 360, that thing was really helping me, be able to find that isolated rock, because you could see on that 360, you could see where the rock was, and then if you saw a piece that was a little deeper or a little further out that was not too deep, that was definitely some key stuff. So that's the tools, elite tools for this event here at Fort Loudon. If you have any questions or any comments, or you want to tell me what I should have been throwing, man, drop that down below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your input on what I was throwing and what I should have been throwing. So hopefully I can learn even more even after the event. So thanks for watching.